The National Population and Housing Census is an important exercise which entails the head count of members in the various households across the country and their houses. It is an important exercise for national development. Preparations for this important event have been ongoing, with activities like the enumeration area demarcation exercise, and a trial census was also conducted in some selected local government areas across the country, Kaduna State inclusive. Today on Panorama, why is it important for the country to have census exercise that is verifiable and acceptable to all? Challenges that need to be surmounted, as well as the importance of sensitization and the role of stakeholders like the traditional institutions, religious body, and social organization. These will be our topic today on Panorama. Please stay tuned. Glad to have you join us. I am Salamatu Lukman Muhammad. You can follow us live on social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram displayed on your screen. Moving on, presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, says no part of the country will be forgotten in the next government that he intends to form should Nigerians vote him into office in February next year. He made the promise while addressing a mega rally of the party in Lagos. Adeni Taiwo reports.
The sun is high up there, scorching. But as hot and scorching as it is no match for the spirit of supporters who convert from Lagos and beyond on Testing Balogun Stadium, awaiting the arrival of the APC presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his running mate.
We don't expect anything less. This is Lagos. You know what Asiwaju did in Lagos while he was the governor?
The young crowd did not have to wait for long as the presidential candidate arrived at the venue in a motorcade accompanied by his running mate, members of the party's presidential campaign council, and the host governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. One after the other, all the speakers, including the party's national chairman, took to the podium to extol the pan-Nigeria disposition of the candidate, describing him as a bridge builder whose vast experience would help to push the frontiers of peace and socio-economic development of the country.
When they ask you who is Tinubu, tell them, Femi Gbajabiamila, the Speaker of the House, said Tinubu is the greatest politician in modern-day Nigerian politics. People of if other people across Nigeria say they want Chakaba as the next president, when you reject him, it is not done until it is done. It is not over until it is over.
In an address interspersed with songs about his mandate, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu declared his intention to continue on the path of progressive governance.
We will not be forgotten in education, in healthcare, in employment. You will not be forgotten.
He also called on party faithful to do the needful by getting their PVC ahead of the February polls. The rally, which saw the candidate endorsing the second-term bid of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, is expected to be the first among many scheduled to hold in the state. In Lagos, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
Still on political matters, the All Progressive Congress presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has promised to turn around the fortunes of the Niger Delta region by meeting their needs when elected. He considers himself as best for the job among other contenders. The APC presidential candidate made a pledge in Oporosa, Warri South, West while meeting with stakeholders and leaders of Ijo. Tessie Coker has the details.
His second visit to Delta State in a week, but this time he is in the creek of the Niger Delta region, Ukmuroza, in the Baramatu Kingdom of Warri Southwest local government area of Delta State, to rub minds with stakeholders, political and traditional leaders of the region.
We won't be far away from you. We will carry you along. We will consult with you regularly. Our brothers here, we embrace them for the development of the area, the community of
For the Deputy President of the Senate and APC Delta State governorship candidate Ovioma Agege, the need of the people is a task that must be accomplished by Bola Ahmed Tinubu if elected.
The interest is very, very key to all of us, not just here in the legislature, but also in the executive. And all of this can only come to pass if we elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu as our president.
The APC presidential candidate is the first to visit the palace of the Agadagba of Baramatu Kingdom. The visit was honored with the title of Iyawale by the monarch. On the Deputy President of the Senate, Ebime Kowe, Baramatu Kingdom. Tessie Koka, NTA.
Young politicians who aspired for various offices at party primaries ahead of the 2023 general elections are forming a common front across party lines to push for better governance and emergence of a new Nigeria. Their target is to have a major stake in the governance process of the country in the next administration. Timothy Yusuf tells us more.
Though they are all politicians and one thing in common, the indivisibility of Nigeria, young politicians who have contested for political offices with others on the ballot for various political offices in the 2023 general elections, they want to be taken seriously by the older generation of politicians.
We must not give up on what we started in 2019. We must keep fighting, irrespective of whether we belong to the same political party or not. We must see ourselves as patriots in a battle to reform Nigeria.
The message appears to be getting through to those present at this meeting that younger politicians have a critical role to play in nation building.
All the struggles that we do today, deep in our heart, we know that we may not necessarily be the beneficiaries. But even though it's a way or a pathway that we're trying to define for the generations unborn or behind us, so that they may have a better Nigeria.
Issue-based and non-violence 2023 general elections remain priority for the youth. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The Nigerian police has arrested some individuals found to be in illegal possession of voters' cards in some states of the Federation. A statement by INEC National Commissioner for Information, Festus Okoye, indicates that in one case, the police has concluded investigation and handed over the case file to INEC, resulting in the successful prosecution of one Nasiru Idris at a magistrate court in Sokoto, who was found to be in possession of 101 PVCs and has been sentenced to 1 year in prison. Similarly, the police in Kano State has arrested a man who was found to be in possession of 367 PVCs. The suspect has been charged to court and the commission is pursuing his prosecution. Meanwhile, with the successful display of the voters' register, INEC is set to come up with detailed arrangement for the collection of PVCs. You're still watching Panorama live on the network service of the NTA. We'll go on a break now. We'll be right back.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
Thanks for staying tuned. Moving on to security matters, remnants of bandits, kidnappers, and other criminal elements in the country will be smoked out from their hideouts before next year's general elections. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, said the operation to flush these criminal elements will be conducted by the Nigerian Army in collaboration with other sister security agencies. Umar Ajingi reports that the Army Chief gave this hint during this year's Artillery Corps training in Kachia, Kaduna State. The report.
The week-long military training, which is an annual event, is designed to expose officers on many modern military warfare and other military tactics. The Chief of Army Staff said military and other security agencies are making serious inroads into the enclaves of these criminals. He said the deployment of security agencies in the country will be pursued with vigor, with a view to securing the nation from the clutches of merchants of conflicts.
Revisit our operations and deploy more appropriate skills every time against the adversary so that we can defeat that and now have peace and security in the country and also provide enabling environment for the upcoming 2023 general elections. Bandits, criminals, terrorists, kidnappers, all of them, anywhere they can be, anywhere they will be, we will get them.
Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya assured Nigerians of scared nation before the conduct of next year's general elections. In Kaduna, Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
More than 3,000 small and light arms recovered from suspects have been destroyed. National Center for the Control of Small and Light Arms, which decommissioned the arms, decried their proliferation, which continue to escalate insecurity around the country. Haruna Muhammad reports.
Light weapons recovered include den gun, AK-47 rifles, and general multipurpose guns, mopped up through coordinated effort by various security agencies. These weapons were largely recovered from non-state actors in the southeast, south-south, northwest, and north-central. The destruction exercise, led by the national coordinator of the center, Major General Muhammad Diko, in company of heads of security agencies in Kaduna, is part of the ongoing effort by the Office of the National Security Advisor to stem the tide of small and light arms in the country.
Support the government and by extension the security agencies in our fight to defeat criminality, terrorism, banditry, and all forms of behavior that threaten our national cohesion and well-being.
The coordinator of the center noted with concern increased number of people involved in fabrication of these arms through an informal way. Major General Diko said the center will work out plans to integrate these people with ingenuity to fabricate small and light arms into its mainstream.
Efforts have reached advanced stages to create a robust database of all gunsmiths and other related artisanal tradesmen in the country with a view to establishing a regulatory regime for their activities or integrating them into the state weapon production architecture.
Concerted efforts towards control and recovery of small and light weapons should be intensified as the surest way of halting undermining national security. The National Center for Control of Small and Light Weapons is carrying out its mandate in fulfillment of the ECOWAS Charter to make Africa's sub-region free of influx and fabrications of destructive illicit firearms. Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
National Population Commission in Kaduna State is not leaving anything to chance in an effort to conduct a successful national census scheduled for next year. Dauda Muhammad reports that the commission is contending with issues but determined to surmount the challenges.
Ahead of next year's scheduled National Population and Housing Census National Population Commission in Kaduna State has been taking series of measures such as trial census, which involved enumeration and area demarcation exercises. It was conducted in 22 local government areas. 9 local government areas were also used as testing ground of technologically based tools to ensure accuracy and reliability of data. Despite all the successes recorded in the state, there is little awareness.
All I know is that I've been hearing from the media that there is going to be a census this year, but I don't know anything more.
The commission need to sensitize us so that we know of the upcoming census.
Well, I heard about it over the radio. I heard about it.
As part of a deliberate measure to address these concerns and challenges, stakeholders meeting was convened to engage the traditional institution, local government administrators, security agencies and others to enhance collaboration as well as solicit the cooperation and support of all for the success of the 2023 National Census.
The Kaduna State Government is convinced that the National Population Commission has the commitment and capacity to deliver a reliable, credible and acceptable and successful census to the nation.
I'm calling on all stakeholders to kindly support this program so that at least they can achieve their objectives, so that we can have accurate data of our citizens and also plan effectively.
We will give all the necessary support that is required to ensure that the exercise in Kaduna State is hitch-free.
The 2023 Population and Housing Census, coming 17 years after the last one, is expected to be conducted using ICT tools. Dauda Mohammed, NTA News.
To discuss further on that backgrounder, I have with me in the studio Dr. Abubakar Abdullahi, an economist from Kaduna State University. Sir, you're welcome to our studio.
Thank you.
Now, you've watched the backgrounder. What do you think is necessary for any nation to carry out census exercise, especially developing country like Nigeria?
Census data and the exercise itself is very, very important and necessary for national planning and economic development. The information obtained from the census can be used for several purposes, particularly on the issue of as it pertains economic development. You see, when you take the demographic composition of the census, it gives you the industrial needs, or it avails you the information on the needs of all the demography within our population, the needs of the young, the elderly, the working age differs. So having such information would allow you to know what you need to produce for what class of citizens of your country. Equally, the population census would allow you to know how to plan. What do you need to provide, in where and when. They are all necessary. Also for security reasons, they are very, very important. I think most developed countries actually have up-to-date data of their population, and as such, you see them, their activities or economic actions are in tandem with such information. Even years to come, they have you find that most countries have made provision for things to come 5-10 years to come. But in developed countries, we actually think the information is just to know the actual size of our population, not necessarily the importance or to which use it can be put into.
Okay, you just mentioned United Nations, stipulate that a census should be carried out every 10 years. But in Nigeria today, for the past 16 years, census have not been taking place. What do you think is the cause?
You see, first and foremost, I think if I remember correctly, the last census conducted in Nigeria, it was during Obasanjo's regime. Yeah. I think first or second tenure, and
even more than 16 years.
More than 16 years. That is one. Secondly, like I've said, we actually do not know the importance of the census itself. We think the the benefit or the essence of census is only for us to know the size of our population. And if only we are strategic, we know that the information obtained from census can be of significant benefit and for economic development. So the third is the issue of the political will. With census comes with a lot of political agitations, and most governments are not ready to confront such issues. And so these are the reasons I think past governments and in most developing countries are afraid to conduct the census. I think to add, I think it entails a lot of financial resources, which is not readily available.
All right. The task of managing census is quite huge and strategic. All right. Some local government areas are having security challenges. How can these issues be resolved?
Like I've said, the data from census can be of great benefit, and the problems we are facing in terms of the insecurity may be attributed to our neglect on the census data, and it has resulted to the situation we find ourselves in. You don't even know who are around you, where they are living and what they are doing, and then you don't provide them with the necessary things to better their life. So they contribute to some of these issues that we find ourselves in.
All right. All right, we would have loved to go on and on, but time is not on our side. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, now up next is sports update with Oche Ngbedi.
We begin with football as Argentina salvages FIFA World Cup dream in Saturday's late game beating Mexico 2-0 with the goals led by Lionel Messi. Meanwhile, in Sunday's fixtures, Belgium will take on Morocco as Croatia